Up until very recently, I've only used manual flash settings for most of my off-camera flash photography, and because of that, all I've ever needed in terms of a flash trigger is a basic no-frills one, like a Pocket Wizard or this Yongnuo trigger. Now, if you're not familiar with these devices, their main purpose is to synchronize one or more off-camera flash units to the opening and closing action of your shutter. In other words, a unit like this mounted to your camera will tell your off-camera flash units to fire when you click the shutter button. And this will light up your scene with the flash at the right time. A basic trigger that just syncs up to your camera and flash doesn't provide sophisticated communication between the camera and flash, so this type of trigger isn't really compatible with things like TTL or adjusting flash power settings from the unit or controlling curtain sync or adjusting flash modes. In order to do all of these things, and maybe even a few more things, you'll need a smarter solution like one of these. Now I'm going to cover all three of these Godox flash triggers in this video. And keep in mind that these same triggers are also branded under other names like Flashpoint, and there are other companies making similar solutions for their own flash systems. But here I'm just comparing these Godox devices. And you should know that all of these share these features. You can read more about this in my blog, which I'll refer to here. Each of these flash units runs on the 2.4 gigahertz radio frequency. The wireless radio range is 100 meters, and you've got high-speed sync. That's usually up to 1/8,000th of a second, depending on your camera. You've got lighted LCD panels. The units control at least 5 groups of flashes, and they're all powered by 2 AA batteries. Now these units also have mini jacks. The XPro has a 2.5 millimeter size mini jack, and they've all got micro USB for firmware updates. They also have autofocus assist beam capability, and they of course have a test flash fire button. Now in order to use all these features with your particular camera, you've got to make sure that you order the model specifically made to be compatible with your camera type. I have the X1T S because I'm using this on a Sony camera, so you're going to get the X1T C for Canon or the N for Nikon, etc. Alright, now this is the Godox X1T. It's the most affordable of the three. It's the oldest and the one with the least amount of features. The thing is, I can use this little unit for about 99% of what I do with off-camera flash, at least for the way that I work. I love its low profile and the fact that it's dependable and really easy to use. Now you can do things like select flash groups, change any of their modes and their power settings, and in order to get to a flash group, you've got to press and cycle through the groups with this one button. All the units we're talking about here also have some type of dial for settings adjustments. And I like how all of the controls here are on the right hand side, so I can reach them easily with my right thumb. For just a few dollars more, you can step up to the X2t. This came out not that long ago, and it's way more sophisticated than the X1. It's got a quick lock to secure the foot, labeled buttons so you can select any flash group with one press to make adjustments. The menu system is easier to use than the X1T custom functions menu, and it's loaded with features including the ability to control flash zoom and modeling lights on strobes and curtain sync and things like that. Now you've got to use flashes and strobes that work with the Godox flash system if you're going to take advantage of these features. And the one cool feature you might like about the X2T is the Bluetooth connection to the Godox Flash app. This allows you to control a lot of things from your smartphone. Now I'm just fine, just controlling the lights from the unit itself, but this app also allows you to take flash synchronized photos with your actual phone, which is kind of cool. Now here's an example of using an off-camera flash and the X2T and just my phone to take a wall bounce flash photo of this cool little lomography camera. Finally, here's the Godox XPro, which is the most expensive unit of the bunch, but it's still super affordable at under 80 bucks. Now I think this is the most awkward looking of the three. It's not very low profile like the other two, and it's It's almost like having part of a flash unit on your camera without the advantage of an actual flash. It does have good button placement. Maybe it's got too many buttons, unless you like your trigger to look and feel more like a master flash. Now, the one thing that the XPro does have over the other options, and this might be the game changer for many photographers when deciding to use this, it's this TCM feature. This button allows you to take an initial photo with all flashes set to TTL. Then, after pressing the button, your setup transforms into a manual setup, where the unit and all flashes can switch to manual mode with the manual settings matching the previous TTL calculated settings. Now, it's basically a faster automatic way for the system to sort of guess the starting power settings for your manual flash setup. So after that, you can just tweak the settings to your liking. So really what this does is save you some time. I should say that I don't use the autofocus illumination feature because I really don't need it, and I haven't even figured out how to make it work with my Sony anyway. I also don't use the pass-through hot shoe on the X1 or X2 units. There are also other ways to use and connect these units up for different types of sync scenarios that we haven't covered here. Overall, I'd have to say that I'd probably use the XT2 for most things and the XPro if I needed the TCM feature. The X1T is great, but I think it's just a little outdated by now, and you might as well step up to the X2t for about $10 more. For that, you get those easy to use buttons and all the other modern features that you won't find on the X1T. If you want to learn more about using Godox units like these, I've got some other videos with in-depth instructions. See the links for that, and check out the blog for even more info. All right, that's about it for today. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Take care, and I'll see you next time.